In his book, Atomic Habits, James Clear described the concept of introducing minimal changes to one's life, which over time are said to yield colossal effects. This idea can be applied to building muscle mass. Most of the time, our goal is to build as much muscle mass as possible. We want to have a broad back, a full chest, arms like loaves of bread, and shoulders like cannonballs. We often forget about small muscles that seemingly no one pays attention to. When they are well developed, though, they can significantly improve the overall aesthetics. If you want to stand out from the crowd of other athletically built guys on the beach, you need to have something that others don't have. If you include a few additional exercises in your workout plan, your physique might turn out to be the one catching the most attention. The first muscle that you should pay more attention to is the back part of the deltoid muscle. In the back poses, it forms an extension of the forming V letter, starting from the widest on the back. From the side, on the other hand, it makes the whole shoulder more spherical. When posing every day in front of the mirror before a shower, you likely check your shape mostly from the front. Next time, check out if you aren't behind in this area. This not only makes your physique incomplete, but it also impacts the health of your shoulders. The shoulder joint, due to its built, is very mobile. Because of that, if you want to avoid an injury, you should work on its stability. The way for you to accomplish that is to simply develop your strength and muscle mass around it. The thing is, you have to do this on multiple levels in order to maintain your structural balance. For example, when pressing, it's the front part of the shoulder that does the most work, while the rest takes on the function of stabilizers. When they are disproportionately weak, sooner or later it will lead to an injury. The back deltoid muscle works the hardest when doing horizontal pulls, especially if you keep your elbows at wide angle relative to your torso. In case of multi-joint exercises, this will be all kinds of wide grip rowing. If you want to focus more on this particular muscle, a great choice will be Powell raise. Face pull with rotation will also work great, and at the same time, it will strengthen your external rotators. Another impressive thing are developed forearms. Someone who has them well developed appears stronger. It is a rare sight at gyms to see someone doing dedicated exercises for this part, and it's not like they can only be exercised during evening relaxation sessions alone. We may include all kinds of wrist bending and stretching in our routine, like with dumbbells. The muscle that will add the most to the circumference of your forearms is the brachioradialis muscle. Its task is to bend the elbow joint. To get it more engaged in work, one has to perform overhand arm bending. A great exercise that will develop both your biceps and forearms is Zottmann Curl.
Turn your hands so your palms face the ceiling. Once you get in the up position, you're going to pronate and then come down, just like this.
It may also prove effective in treatment of wrist pain. Although it doesn't fit directly in the concept of this material, I will also mention the shoulder muscle. It is not visible on the outside, which is why some people are not aware of its existence. It is located directly below the biceps, which means that the bigger it is, the more it pushes them upwards. The way they will appear bigger at the same time increasing the arm circumference. Because it works in synergy with biceps and the brachioradialis, it is hard to focus solely on it. The movements that engage it harder are overhand arm bending or hammer grip arm bending. Instead of constantly overdoing the king of exercises, which is a bicep rested on the knee, try exercising the arms with different wrist positions. When it comes to torso muscles, particularly admirable are the serratus anterior muscles. Your grandma may have likely mistaken them for ribs, saying that you're too thin and should eat more. Truth is, it's a very aesthetic muscle that will crown a developed chest. It plays a crucial role in stabilizing the shoulder blades. If they stick out, it is likely due to weak serratus muscles. We can exercise them directly, like by doing back push-ups or the serratus wall slide exercise using a roller. The thing is, in the long run, it's difficult to progress with them, which makes it a good idea to include overhead dumbbell extension or a half barbell pressing in your workout routine, and pick ab wheel during the core workout. The biggest symbol of great shape and aesthetics is six-pack. Most gym goers systematically exert themselves with planks, leg lifts, or all kinds of torso bends. Let him who never did crunches in his youth in hopes of getting a visible six-pack cast the first stone. However, we forget about stomach exercises on other levels in order to focus on oblique muscles. They are very impressive, especially in the poses with the torso twisted. Sadly, for them to be clearly visible, a low enough body fat level is required. Of course, claiming that you don't exercise them wouldn't be entirely true. They serve a stabilizing function, which causes them to work during sit-ups, for example. They are movements, however, that may engage them even more. Their function is, among others, twisting the torso, as well as sideways bending. One of the better exercises for this part, which is rarely seen at the gyms, is wood chops. They can be performed on a lift or in a more dynamic version with the dumbbell. Another good choice will be one-handed farmer walks. Let's move on to the back tape one more time. During bodybuilding competitions, it is impossible not to pay attention to the bulky middle of the back, and more specifically, the trapezius muscle. Every big guy's workout plan should include shrugs, which are usually performed by bobbing head like a pigeon. This exercise is intended to develop a powerful upper trapezius muscle. Individual parts of the trapezius, on the other hand, perform different functions, and they work while doing different moves. People forget about working on its lower and middle section in their workouts. This will also translate to stabilization of shoulder blades. If you have a hard time maintaining a retraction when pressing, one of the reasons might be weakened trapezius. A thing that may help is lifting arms in a Y shape as well as a T shape while lying on the bench. Of course, it also works during other exercises like when rowing. If you put a bigger emphasis on it, just like with the back of the shoulders, you may achieve a very aesthetic and outstanding back as a result. Now let's touch upon a controversial topic, which is calves workout. Without a doubt, a well-built gastrocnemius muscle with visible separation is an eye-catcher. I'm mentioning this because a lot of people don't exercise them, believing that they won't grow anyway. A common error is not doing enough volume on this part. If you have only done 3 series a week so far as a conclusion to a leg workout, don't be surprised if their circumferences don't increase. This is like you only did 3 series of pressing and expected to have a chest like Arnold. Increase both frequency and volume and give yourself some time, and your calves will grow to a smaller or larger degree. I will finish this with the muscle that could be seen mostly as a trivia, as it takes a single-digit body fat level to make it visible. It is the sartorius muscle, which is easily visible in bodybuilders. It works on 2 joints, bending both the hip and the knee, which means that we will train it by doing these movements. It is more like a support for other muscles performing this function, which makes it difficult to isolate. I do realize that with limited time for training, it is difficult to thoroughly focus on all the minor details of physique. All of the parts discussed work during multi-joint exercises anyway. However, from time to time, we could give a priority in our plan to one of them and change them cyclically. These are more like tips for those who have already developed a foundation in form of adequate amount of muscle mass and wish to improve in already great shape. Beginners should rather focus on general muscle mass development. After all, someone who is skinny but with huge trapezius muscles would look ridiculous.